Hi guys, welcome to my channel. It's been a while since I did a video. Actually, I've shot some videos in the past weeks, but I was just not happy with the way that it came out for several reasons, which I'm not gonna go through on this video. But today I just thought, let me come here and actually do a video regarding my business, because I actually want to take you along as I actually go about launching my business. And before I actually take you along in the things that I'm going to be doing for my business, I thought that it's important for me to first talk about Lux Naturals, and then now that I'm actually going into another type of business, but still in the natural hair space, but it's just that it's another type of business, a different business model completely. So I thought it would be wise of me to actually take you along, because I did do a video once talking about Lux Naturals, how I went about coming up with my business idea and then having a business. But also, I can't also just jump into another business without letting you know what has been going on, what I decided to do, and what is going to happen going forward. So I thought, let me do this video first just to talk you through my journey, or basically what I've done so far. So firstly, you know that I have Lux Naturals, and Lux Naturals was basically offering oils and shea butter, and that was basically it. I decided to pivot Lux Naturals. It's important to know when it's time to pivot. Like, you can't always be carrying around things and you're just busy accumulating, you're doing this and this and that and that and that, but you're not even sure what is going on in each and every part of your life, or the things that you're doing in your life. So I'm a person that believes that if it's time to pivot and move on to another thing, so that you can actually give yourself enough time and also enough oomph when it comes to building whatever that you want to build. So I decided to pivot Lux Naturals and actually start a new brand, and my new brand is called Indoni Crown Care. I have a big vision for it. It's not like I'm saying I'm just gonna do one thing. When I thought of Indoni Crown Care, I have been having so many ideas in my mind, so much vision for my life and where I want to take my life. When I was thinking of Indoni Crown Care, it is that baby. Like, and Indoni Crown Care, it's a name that I came up with. But before I came up with the name, I've thought about a lot of things, a lot of layers when it comes to my business. And so I decided that, you know what, in order for me to focus on building this baby right here that I want to see flourish and becoming the thing that I envision in my mind, I need to pivot Lux Naturals. And I need to pivot Lux Naturals because I do not see myself having a line now. Like, I do not see myself developing a full line now or in the next 10 years. Maybe I'm going to do it, but for now, no, I do not see myself doing that. And that is because of my own reasons. I do know that I have seen that there are a lot of businesses that are being launched. There are a lot of brands that are being launched in the country, and other brands which are international, which are then being launched in the country. And in my mind, I want, when I do launch a full line, or basically a full hair care line, I want it to be very distinct, because one thing I realized that there's so many similar products in the market. So I want it to be so distinct that it is targeting a specific market. It is very clear about what it wants to do in the natural hair space. It is very clear about who it's for. And yeah, that's my idea behind if I do create a hairline. So I decided, let me park that for a while, because that will need a lot of resources in order for me to make sure that I do it right, you know. Because the nice thing is, now I have the experience of Lux Naturals, then I can take that experience with me as I build. If in the future I want to actually build a hair care line, I can take that experience with me, my lessons, my fails, and all that stuff. And so I decided, let me just pivot Lux Naturals and start and focus on this baby right here. So, and also, just before I go into the new baby or the new business that I'm going to be launching, I just wanted to say also another thing that I learned when I was actually running Lux Naturals, which I did not run very well, but when I had Lux Naturals and it was one of my businesses, one thing that I didn't do right was that I didn't take care of my finances very well. So if you do know that, okay, maybe I did not mention this, but I did not register Lux Naturals. There was never really a registered company, and I didn't do it because I was still not sure if this is something that I want to carry on. And for me, it was just a side hustle that I could do and get money there and there. So I did not track my finances. I did not have a clear financial plan. And so I kept injecting a lot of my savings in it, but not seeing the returns. And that is because I was the one who was poorly managing my finances. If I did it the other way around, where I actually took care of my finances, I understood the income versus the expenses and what was left as the bottom line, maybe it was going to be better. So I realized that every time when I needed to restock, I didn't have cash flow that was there waiting for me to do that. Instead, I had to always dig from my own savings and actually fund the business. And I realized that if I continue like this, then it's no point. Like it's really there is no point. So I decided, you know what, I want to make sure that when I start another business, that I'm very clear and precise when it comes to the finances, and I track my finances, which is why for Indone Crown Care, I wanted to do things differently. So the first thing that I did was I registered my company. So I went under CIPC. CIPC is a company that is situated here in South Africa, and it caters for South Africans when it comes to registering your company, which means that you have to have a South African ID in order to actually have a registered company under CIPC. So I actually registered my company, and there were two options under CIPC when it comes to registering your company. So it's the manual one, and it's also the automatic one. Now the manual one is where you put all the information, then you have to go and do the runarounds. Then the automated one is actually the one that you do online. So you do everything online, from registering your company to actually applying for the tax certificate, to applying for the BEE certificate, and also applying for a bank account. So by the time you are done with the whole process online, all this process have kicked in. So the moment that you receive an SMS or an email saying your business has been registered, here's your business certificate, then all this other process kicks in. Such that I registered my company same day. So I did my process. I started around 11. By 2, my company was already registered. By 4, I already had a business account. And then the following week, I got my bank card. And then also with the tax certificate, I got it the following day or the third day. But I got everything within, everything was just done in 1 week. So I would advise that if you want to register your company or want to register your business, don't pay for someone. Don't do that. That will be a waste. For a long time, I thought that I had to have someone help me. Like, I was always waiting for my partner to help me register the business because I felt like I couldn't do it. But it's because I was lazy to actually go to the CIPC website and actually look what are the options that are there. So what I did is I put 175 on the CIPC wallet, because you need that to register your company. And then I secured 3 names, and then so basically, if you want to register your company, don't pay for someone. Go on the CIPC website, on the registration, choose the automated one where you do everything online. And the nice thing, you don't have to attach anything, even your ID, you don't have to attach it. So I would advise that you do that. But also, I would also advise you that if you are going to register your business, be clear about why you're going to register your business. Be clear about what you want to do. And also, be clear that, okay, I really want to register this business because I see myself running this business for years and years. Because having too many accounts open under the CIPC can count against you in the future, especially if you're going to open a business, then you stop running it, and then you're not submitting your taxes, you're not doing anything, and then you open another one, they can end up flagging you. So you don't want to be in that position. So make sure that by the time you register your business, no matter what country you are in, when I think about it, I think it's the same thing with other countries. Make sure that by the time you register your business, you are clear. You are clear about what you want to do. You know your why. You have your whole, even though it's not to the T, but you have a clear idea of what you want to do when it comes to your business. What I then did is, actually even before I registered my company, I used this book right here. So this book has been my friend, a best friend of mine when it comes to planning for my business, because from this book I wrote a lot of things when it comes to planning and what I needed to do. So the business idea, the first layer of my business is actually a box. Now it's not just a box, it's actually a sample box. Now the way that I came up with the idea was I had not seen it from anyone, I had not heard about it, and I just felt like, okay, in this space, this is what I want, this is what I feel like I would actually gravitate towards as a consumer of natural hair products. And then I went on Instagram and asked like a mini survey from people, and most people, when I was probing more, I realized that this is something that they would also appreciate in the space. So from there, from that idea of, okay, I would like to actually have a box which will then have sample items of natural hair products. And to me, that idea had been scaring me, but then I realized that the reason why it was scaring me is because I had not seen anyone do it. It's not something that is just out there, because normally when you do something that is already out there, it's not as scary. It's not as scary because you already have a benchmark. You already have someone that you can look at and actually learn from. But with this idea, I did not have that. So after I decided that this is what I want to do, I was still scared, I'm not gonna lie, because I still did not have much information about it. And then I started doing my research. The more I did my research, the more I realized that there are other businesses that are out there doing a similar thing. Now, even before that, I knew about two businesses that do the similar thing, but it's not in the haircare space, and that is Sandbox and Cernbed. And I like their business model. For me, if those companies were in South Africa, I would definitely be buying my perfumes in that route, because sometimes buying perfumes is not an easy thing. So also, I realized that in the natural hair space, it is very hard buying products for a lot of consumers. Some people will go to the retail shops with an intention of buying products, but in most cases they will leave without them, because when they get there, there's just so many options and they get confused and it becomes hard to buy. And another thing that actually prompted the idea of sample size was, on top of it being hard for a consumer to choose what to buy, is also not knowing what will work for you. Now I realized that the more I started exploring more and more with natural hair products, I realized that there were a lot of products that I was not finishing. They were just stacking up in my wardrobe, or basically in my cabinets. They were just stacking up. And that annoyed me. It annoyed me because I was thinking of my pockets and thinking of my money that I've wasted in those products. And not because that I don't like them, but it's because I want to try something else. And because I want to do that, I keep accumulating more products. And for me, I'm a very minimal person. I like to keep things very minimal. The moment it starts being cluttered, my mind can't function. And so the idea of sitting with many products was just getting to my nerves. So for me, I felt like I know that there are a lot of people who have become product junkies, not because they were intentional, that they just want to accumulate products and have them sitting there on their cabinets. Because at the end of the day, products do have a shelf life. After 6 months, after you've opened your product, after 6 months, you should be considering throwing those items away. So I know that there are people that have become product junkies for that particular reason, that they like to explore, but because they like to explore, they keep accumulating more. And I also know that there are people who like reviewing products, but sometimes you're going to review a product and not use it once and actually not use it again, and then that product keeps sitting there. So all of those things, for me, I felt like that this sample box that I want to launch is actually the answer to all of those. It's actually a solution to all these people who are very similar to the struggles that I have, but even more so the struggles that I do not have, but I see in the natural hair space. And so that is how I came up with that idea. And I decided that, you know what, Scary as it is, I'm going through with it. And the more I research, I realize that there are a lot of boxes out here, not out here in South Africa, but in other countries. There are a lot of boxes, especially in the United States. Like there's curl box, there's curl mix, there's curl this, there's just box of this and this and that. And in most of these boxes, it's not sample size products. All of them, they're full-size bottles. So every month a person is going to purchase full-size bottles, and then what if they don't finish those products? What happens to those products? The following month they get another box. They use those products. What if they don't finish those products? Like that was my idea behind it. And in South Africa we do have a wash day box, which is also a very good business model. But I didn't want to launch just another wash day box. Didn't want a wash day box, and that is because I know that a wash day box would not serve me, and I also know that a wash day box does not answer the questions that I actually want to address when it comes to why I'm actually coming up with this business idea. It would not, because as I said, the idea behind me thinking of Indoni Crown Care or this sample box was that it is because of product accumulation. And it's because people are not finishing their products. It's because people like to review products, but they never sometimes go back to those products. And all of those things, if I just merely went and bought products and full-size bottles and resold them, it wouldn't be answering that question. It wouldn't be answering that problem. So for me, having sample size items available to people to purchase so that they can explore with a peace of mind, knowing that they're not accumulating products, knowing that they can actually review products for their YouTube pages, for their Instagram, but they can review products without accumulating products. Like, I don't know if you guys get what I mean. Like, you can actually try a brand and see if it works for you before you actually go and buy the full-size bottle. That for me, I felt like, yes, this is what we need. This is what we need in the natural hair space, because guys, there are so many brands that are being launched in South Africa, good brands, but some of them we don't get the chance to try them because we worry about, is it really a good investment for me to buy this product or not? Is it really wise for me to buy this? You have so many questions before you buy. So the sample box will allow you to actually avoid having so many questions. You can just buy the box for half price of what the whole package or the whole line would be from the brand, and actually try it, so that in the future, if you want to buy those products, you have a clear idea of how the product works for your hair specifically. Because another thing is, people rely on reviews. People rely on influencers telling them that the product is good, but then when they buy it, sometimes they get shocked because it doesn't do what this influencer has been saying it does, or it does not do what has been said on the reviews. So having the opportunity to try the product yourself is way better than taking a word of mouth. So that is what I wanted to do. So that is what the box is going to do. And then after that layer, there's also other layer, because I also want to release an ebook next year, which I've started working on, but I decided, let me pack it and launch the box first, let it run, and then afterwards, maybe like few months in after we've launched the box, then introduce the ebook, which I feel like it will be very handy for people that are in their natural hair journey, for people that want to understand their hair, and for people that want to understand the things that they put on their hair. So that is what I want to do as well. And then there are other things that I want to introduce in the future when it comes to the business. So that is the idea behind Indoni Crown Care. So that is why I had to pivot Lux Naturals. Like, Lux Naturals just ended up not having a space in the vision that I have. Like, I couldn't take it with me. And I couldn't even say I'm going to rebrand and do it. I just couldn't take it with me. And so that is how I came about deciding that I'm going to pivot Lux Naturals and actually focus on this new brand, which is called Indoni Crown Care. Now, the way that I came up with the name Indoni Crown Care was, in my mind, I wanted to have a broad arcing name. So Indoni crown care, if you do not know, Indoni means basically it's a tree that grows next to the riverside, and it's usually, when you say Indoni, usually will associate it to something that is beautiful. So like if you see someone that is beautiful, we say umuhle ufana nendoni. So basically you are beautiful. And then there is crown. Now for me, I'm a firm believer that our hair is our crown. Whether you have it shaved or what, but our heads, they're basically our crown, and our hair is basically the manifestation of our crowns, the crown that is growing out of our scalp. So I also thought, okay, crown, perfect. And then K is basically how do you take care of your beautiful crown? Remember, Indon, it's beautiful, stands for beautiful. Crown is basically your hair. So how do you take care of your crown? So that is how I came about the name. So that is it, you guys. I wanted to come and just talk to you guys about why I had to pivot Last Naturals and what am I going to be doing going forward. And then what I'm going to be doing, my next video, I'm going to try and actually show you me going about actually executing this business, from creating the website to designing things, and also reaching out. One thing that I've done already is I've reached out to some brands, and I reached out to a few because I wanted to kick it first, get it started. From getting it started, then reach out to more brands. But I'm actually going to reach out to more brands in January, and then see which ones agree and which one don't agree, because in the day, not every brand is going to agree, if especially they don't get the idea or the vision behind the sample box. Yeah, like if they don't see it for their business, then they're going to say no. But if they see it as something that would be beneficial for their business, then it's a yes, you know. So I've been reaching out to some brands. Some brands have said yes, some brands have said no. And I'm not even going to push with the brands that say no, because if you said no, that means that you're not getting the vision, or you're not getting the idea behind this box and what it can do, especially for brands. And so I don't want to push brands that actually are not interested in that. And so I want to focus on brands that believe in this, brands that actually see this as something that will be beneficial for them. So yeah, I'm only focusing on that. If you say no, I move on. I'm like, okay, great, let's move on to another one. Another thing that I've done as well is actually I've been working on the website, but I'm gonna talk to you guys about that next time, in terms of why did I decide to actually design the website myself, like what prompted me to actually do the website myself, and how I actually went about it, just to give you a brief overview. I'm not gonna go into detail with it, because it can be boring to someone that does not really care, but it can be beneficial for someone that does care, that wants to have their own website. Yeah, so that is it, you guys. Thank you so much for watching this video. I truly appreciate you watching up until the end. I do hope that you're actually going to join me in this journey as I bring you along, as we draw closer to launch dates. And also I also hope that you become one of my customers when it comes to snatching your box. Thank you so much. Until I see you in the next video, take care.